Well, hello, everybody. We love you. And we're happy that you've joined us for episode 36 of Alpha E Mind Mastery's United Earth Angels series. I'm Toby Staples. I'm the host. And who am I? Well, I'm a spiritual way shower, a healer, an energy alchemist, and I guide people to their highest potential of their being and their higher self and to function from it and to flow from a state of love over worry. That's what I do. Andy, as the co host, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Andy Joe Ford. I am an earth angel, an author, a mom, a wife, a singer, songwriter, actor. Um, and I am a healed and whole being working alongside Miss Toby Staples. And together we can show you how to be healed also.
Right on. There's a lot of things that I want to promote today at the beginning of this episode. Yes, we've mentioned that today is episode 36. We're talking about relieving anxiety by removing the fear. Yeah, sorry we haven't been out here for 2 weeks, guys. Last week we annihilated that episode, but we'll be back to do the topics that we've missed out on for y'all in the next couple of weeks. We encourage you all to have a very happy holiday, no matter which one it is that you are celebrating. We are 2 days away from Christmas, but there's Hanukkah, there's all kinds of other holidays. So, no matter what you are celebrating, we wish you all the best. We wish you love filled memories. Make sure it's a joyous holiday, no matter which one it is that you're celebrating, but celebrate your gift of life first. Guys, if you want to ring in the new year with high vibrational people, what does that mean? Well, Michael Whitehouse is going to throw a virtual event. So you can get your ticket right there or in the comments. Make sure you get your ticket to Ring in the New Year 5 times in 5 zones with high vibrational people. Yes, I'll be co hosting the event. How could I miss something like that? Come on now. I encourage everybody, come on out and celebrate with us. So I've mentioned that. And I've mentioned the episode. Now, are you guys ready to hit your 2025 income goals? Because if you are, your best bet to do that is to join us January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on the upcoming summit. Orlia Moore's Pathways to Paydays. Come on out. I'm kicking off the summit. First one to speak January 2nd. What's my talk? No excuses. Turning your potential into a payday. Yes, and you must. Yeah, come out and join us. Link is there or in the comments. Yes, we've got a private group empowering you and anybody who wants it to tap in with us to empower themselves and love themselves back to life. This is the link for Facebook for the group. Come on over, answer the questions, make sure that you fill out the joining application properly, and I will approve you. Not a problem. What else have I forgotten? Have I forgotten anything else? Andy, does it sound like I've covered everything on here?
It sounds like you have covered everything.
All right, so let's get into today's episode. Relieving anxiety by removing the fear.
Yes.
All right, so what would you like to say about that today to our wonderful audience out here? Happy holidays, Facebook and
Yes.
LinkedIn, and everybody celebrating. We love you. I hope you're loving yourself just as much as I'm loving you. Andy, take it away.
Yes. Relieving anxiety by removing fear. Fear is the root of anxiety, of depression. You're scared to leave your house. You're afraid that somebody's going to break your heart. You're afraid that just you're afraid for yourself, or you're afraid for your children even. You're anxious for them to start school because you're afraid somebody's going to be mean to them, or you know, that fear is it's a man-made thing. You have nothing to fear but fear itself, right, Toby?
Well, big time. Well, you know what the problem is? People live on fears, believing that they're their fears, but they're not. They're implanted fears from our parents, from our conditioning, the programming, and from our experience, because we weren't fearful until we were made to believe that we should be. And what were we the biggest fear? The consequence of our actions. We felt it from our parents, our experience, our teachers, society. Come on, conform, conform, conform. If not, there's consequences. So that induces fear. Fear to be yourself, fear to speak your truth, fear to jump outside the box of conformity. There's fear of not being validated, loved, approved of, or accepted. We could go on for fears all day, but you have to decipher, are you living off of your fear, or are you living off of somebody else's fear that was put in you? Once you can correlate that and identify, what am I fearful anyway? Why am I scared? There's nothing to be scared of. When you understand that you have all and everything flowing through you for this magnificent experience that you're actually breathing in, because that's all you need is your breath, then you should have no fear.
Nope.
Go ahead. Fear is
Um,
unfounded. Fear
hmm,
is false evidence appearing real. It is a lie that you've been telling yourself. When you understand your power of your being, you're not fearful of anything.
no. Like as a child, I was always taught, don't do that, you're going to get hurt. Don't do this, you're going to, But yeah, and I did. I started my children's lives out like that too. Don't do this, you're gonna get hurt. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. But as my older kids can tell, my adults could tell anyone, well, mom's changed a lot because mom's realized a lot to not to imbuke my fear that I was forced with onto my kids. Like I'll tell them, hey, if you do this, this will happen, but it's your choice to do it. Just like when my kids run around the living room in their socks, I'm like, we have hardwood floors. You keep running around them socks, keep dancing around them socks, you'll slip and crack your head open. I mean, but go ahead. They look at me and they're like, they take their socks off and then they play.
Yeah. Oh, but that's the fun. I remember, like, those hardwood floors and sliding as a kid in socks. There's nothing better than that. Who gives a shit if we wipe out? You know what we really don't realize? For us, we're inducing the fear from our height and our experience. But these
Yeah.
kids are so low to the ground that they won't hurt themselves the way that we would.
Well, see, we have concrete right underneath the wood because this used to be a business. Our house used to be a business. If it was just regular floor, I wouldn't even say anything, but I really don't want to go to the ER.
Well, that's the joy of parenting, all of those trips to the ER and all the stories to say with it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I can look back and there was many trips to the ER in my family. Like, come on, yeah, big time.
Oh, my Steven, he was in 5th grade. He's 16 now, but he was in 5th grade and he's outside playing and running. And he didn't see the teacher's window open and it opened outward for some reason. And he fell and he split his head. He had to have like 5 stitches. And I was like, no, 5 staples. They put staples in his head. So yeah, those visions of your child's head splitting open will it don't leave your brain. But yeah, you can't be afraid that they'll continue, that they'll do that. Although I admit I am afraid that they're going to crack their head open in this house because it's concrete.
Yeah, well, that's why in talking about, I was just going to mention my Wise and Rising Parenting, Conscious Parenting book. I have a section in that book where it's fear-based decisions. And our parents parented us out of fear-based decisions. But we come from, I don't know. You see, I just turned 50, and I come from a generation where, hey, it was go out there, play. Doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. When you hear that cowbell, you come home. That's, take your bike, drive everywhere in the countryside. Doesn't matter where you are, because up the road, somebody will call your mother and let them know where you are, if anything. Like we grew up in a time where we were free range children. Nobody
Well, my
was.
mom never let me do any of that, but
Well, how old are you now, Andy?
I'm 45.
Oh yeah, there's not much age difference, but I grew up in a generation where it was like we raised ourselves,
Well,
literally.
yeah, I raised myself, but I wasn't allowed to do it outside of my house, really.
But that's why we're the last generation of the real raw truthful beings, and that's why we got not. And it's funny because there's a lot of, I don't know about all of these, like, what they call us, all these labels of these generation blocks, and then they give it all a name for societal norms and conditioning and labels again. But people are people. It doesn't matter when they were born or what they experienced, and they can do all and everything. But
Right.
fear cripples the majority of the population. Fear of not being loved, fear of not being accepted, fear of not being approved of, fear of not doing it the right way, fear of not having enough, fear of not being enough, fear of just everything operates their system. And as long as you're living in fear, well, it's only producing three things in your life: fight, flight, or freeze, because
Yep.
you're definitely not flowing with ease from that state of fear. So, honestly, fighting, what does that look like in survival mode? Well, you're fighting your own thoughts, you're fighting your own being, you're fighting your way in the world, you're fighting yourself to get your things done, you're fighting to have conversations that are calm and clear, you're fighting to have peace in your life, and you can't acquire it.
Hmm.
What does flight look like? Ah, you're avoiding yourself. You're avoiding your mistakes. You're running from the self. You can't stop and sit with the self. You're avoiding even your own being. You distract your life from yourself with everybody else and their problems. Everything else is of more importance than you, because you're running from yourself. That's what flight looks like. You can't face people that are pissing you off. You go and wallow in self sorrow and self mutilation by thought alone instead of standing up for yourself. You avoid being who you need to be in the world. That's flight. Freeze? Huh. Stuck like a wheel in mud, spitting dirt on everything in your life, even including you. You sit there, you shame yourself. You walk the walk of shame daily, beating yourself up. That's freeze mode. That's whoop, 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 a pattern of demise. Yeah. And poisonous thoughts give you a poisonous being. So you got to remove the fear. Removing the fear, remove the fear. How do you do that? You trust. That's how you remove the fear. You must annihilate the fear with trust. And what's the trust? Trust that you are enough. Trust that you are safe and secure to be you. Trust that you are uniquely you and are needed and valid, or you wouldn't be breathing. Source gives you life for a reason. You have a unique signature. You're not meant to be like anybody else. You're not meant to compare anybody yourself to anybody else. And good and bad is man-made. That is not the true duality of the planet. No, it's not. That is one's opinion from their belief system, whether they attach good and bad. We only have positive and negative energy. But can you be in the neutral of your being and in the peace of knowing who you are and solid and secure, creating everything and anything that you want? Remove the fear by trusting that you are where you're supposed to be. You are going where your heart desires, and stay true to you. Trust that you have all and everything flowing through you. That's how you do it. Andy, I could go on for a long time. Why don't you take it over here?
And I could listen for a long time because it's true. I mean, you erase fear by trusting you. Everything about you. You have to trust you. Nobody else can do it for you. I mean, they could tell you what to do. Like, Toby's told me multiple times what I need to do, to get over things, to um, believe in me, to trust me, but you can't make me do it. Just like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But you can make it thirsty. I mean, by leading by example, by showing others how you've healed, how you've um, moved into your true potential, how you've done everything, you can make others want to do that for themselves too. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink, but you can make it thirsty just by showing it the possibilities, just by showing someone the possibilities. You can make them say, "Oh, maybe I do need to do this, or maybe I need to try this. See if this works." And then they'll just fly from there. I could sit there and talk to them blue in the face about what you need to do. Toby can talk about, what you need to do, but we can't do it for you. You have to trust in you. You have to believe in you. Nobody else can do it for you. But until you let go of crap that's holding you back, you're not going to you're not going to feel the effects.
And exactly. I could talk until I'm blue in the face, and somebody could sit there and listen, but that doesn't mean that it's helping them in their life, because unless they take that learning and apply it, put it to action, then it's useless to them. They sit back with wishful thinking. Oh, well, when I have time. How could you not make time for you to make yourself the most powerful being on the planet?
Right.
Because
Like
that's
I've
what you
got 6
are.
kids at home. Come on now.
Like, everybody says, that's one of actually, that is the biggest excuse that people use. Why they do not stand up for their own being is that they do not have the time. Well, if you can't do that for you, then you're useless to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I've got
Literally.
5 adult kids and 6 kids at home and a husband, and I cook dinner and da 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 da. I don't have like a job outside of the house, but I have a full-time 24/7 job in the house. I'm making time for me. I make time. You have to keep your
Yeah.
sanity.
Yeah. But you see, when you start to love yourself the way that you should, and pay yourself first before you pay the world energetically, like I tell everybody to on a daily basis. Wake up grateful. The minute you know that you have opened your eyes and you are breathing, you better be grateful that you have won. You won entrance to have another day of discovery in this life adventure.
Mhm.
But have you woken up feeling like, I got to do this all over again? Oh, I got to meet with so many people, but I don't want to talk to anybody. Oh, are you dragging yourself through your schedule in a day, or are you joyously bouncing from moment to moment, exploring and discovering and learning off of every single interaction you have? Because that's what it's meant to be. Nothing's supposed to crush you. You're supposed to every day embrace the brand new adventure of a brand new day, healed and whole and ready to play. Literally, passionately playing through your day.
Just like a child.
Yes, because you've never been who you are today, ever in your entirety of your existence. Why? Because you lived yesterday. Everybody, not everybody, but I've heard so many people tell me, well, I'm just the same person and I have been for years. No, you're not. You are just too busy, distracted from everything else around you and what everybody else is doing than to actually validate your own change because you believe it non existence. That's it. where
Yep.
something exists, it exists. It cannot be annihilated just like that. Change is inevitable. Transformation. We transform every day into a new person, every single day. Yesterday no longer relevant, but are you recreating the patterns of fear and pain and self-suffering and self-mutilation by thought alone? That's what you got to look at. How can you tell? Well, how do you feel? Because you only feel direct correlation to what you're telling yourself, because that's the only thing that you're going to feel in this experience is your own data processing of it all. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with the experience. Not at all. But whether you can stand up for yourself and face yourself, that's a different story. Or do you feel comfortable being smothered by the 5 masks that your parents taught you to wear in your first 5 years of life? What do I mean by that? Well, hey, be like this when you go to grandma's house. Be like this when you're at school. Oh, be like this when we go to church. Oh, don't say that. Be like this when we're in the grocery store. Oh, be like that. You have been trained to be everybody but your real, raw, authentic you. Have you broken out of that mold? Have you started to fix what you do believe about you? Or are you running on the story of somebody else and their fears? This is what I would love everybody to correlate to. Any fear that you have you looked at it? Do you know where it comes from? Why it's there? Because you weren't born with it. So who and what put it there? Annihilate that. And I encourage you all to do it. And we're about to wrap up this episode soon, but I encourage you all. Wrap up 2024 the way that you should. Standing up for you in your power, that's yours. We weren't born with fear, or you never would be breathing after the minute you adapted to being able to breathe. That's your biggest capability of your highest potential, going from water to air. Do you not see what you were capable of? So if you're capable of that and you're breathing today, you're capable of all and everything within the experience. Or have you nulled that in your brain from fear? Fear of being who you really are. Scrap that. Gift yourself that this Christmas. The freedom from those fear-based beliefs about yourself.
That's a
Love
great Christmas
y'all.
present.
I love y'all, and this is why I do it. Andy, take a couple minutes to add whatever you want, and we're going to wrap this thing up. Take her to town.
Yeah. I was just telling my husband either today or last night, I said, you know what? Because I started doing this a few months back, and when we were started our classes and stuff, not worrying about what my kids say or do wherever they are. And of course, little kids think that fart jokes and butt jokes and all that's hilarious. And we used to say, "Don't do that here. Just don't do that." I spoke to my husband last night. I said, they think it's funny. Kids, I'm not gonna tell them what they can and can't say as long as they're not hurting anybody or hurting themselves. Just, uh, I'm not sweating it. I'm gonna let them be them. Let them just be kids because once they get out in this world, it's not going to be that way. I'm not going to stress over all the little crap that I used to stress about. Like, be you. I don't care. Be you in front of my mom. Be you in front of my grandma. Well, my grandma's got dementia, so she wouldn't know the difference, anyways. Be you in front of my mom's family. Be you in front of teachers. Be you in front. We don't go to church because, I mean, we believe, we just don't go to church, because the people sometimes at church don't act like they believe in goodness. You know what I mean? But wherever we go, Walmart, whatever, just be you. I don't care. Just don't break anything that's not yours. Okay?
There you go.
But it's a lot less stressful when you just let your kids be themselves and don't put fear into them. mean, yes, I'm still afraid they're going to crack their head wide open on my concrete floor. But I mean, I warn them if it happens, I'll take them to the ER. But but you can't let fear ruin your life because that's what it does.
Well, when you override fear with the safety and security. So remember, your thoughts are your powers, right? So don't put that out there. They're always safe in your presence and out of your presence, and they will never fall and crack their head open because that's just they know better. And there's
Yeah,
no fear of it happening. You install the safety and security and reverse the fear because fear of any kind is that frequency of 100. You're buckled at the knees. You can't move. So just make
yeah.
sure. Rewrite that. Guys, actually, Andy, take a couple minutes. You want to wrap it up? You want to wish anybody happy holidays, whatever the case is, do it now.
Yes, I just want to say Merry Christmas, everybody. And remember, presents are not the meaning of the holidays. Your presence is. Be there, make memories. Don't just buy a present and say, Here, remember me by this. That's not what it's about. It's about spending time with your family and your loved ones. It's about having a big Christmas dinner like we have every year. I'm telling you, my kitchen gets full of food from all the counter space is gone because there's food. And then there's nowhere to sit because, well, 11 kids. But all my kids come. My mom hasn't been coming because she's dealing with fear and anxiety and all that crap herself, and I'm trying. But and then my Aunt Crystal comes, just it's about spending time with people. It's not about what you can give them physically. It's about what you can give them from here, your time, playing card games. My Aunt Crystal loves to play card games with the kids. Like she'll come over and say, Hey, get me a deck of cards or give me the Uno or get me a board game. We'll sit here and play games. She does that with them. They love that. It's not about the presence. It's about your presence. But I love you all and Merry Christmas.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for coming and joining us for episode 36, Relieving Anxiety by Removing the Fear. You know what? There's a root cause of your fear, and it's not you. And that's what you need to know. Any fear that you've been implanted in you comes from somewhere. That's why we believe it exists. Why do we believe what it exists? Why things exist? Because we've experienced it, we've been taught it, we've been told it. Come on. Every fear that you have is not yours. Because when you take a look at all of that stuff, you realize those aren't your fears. Look in your lineage, look at the experience you've had, and you can find that every one of your fears comes from somebody else and their fears. Do not live by the story of somebody else's fears because you are crippling your life with it on such a huge magnitude. Gift yourself the freedom of it all. And if you need some help doing that, love yourself back to life in 2025, and I'll show you how to do that. Just reach out. Yeah. All you got to do is book some time with me. That's it. Where can you find me? There's my Calendly link. At that link, you got 30 free with me. I can show you how to love yourself back to life with the perfect prescription to do it. Because y'all are going to the wrong places to get your prescriptions filled. I'll tell you that right now. And there's a lot of people out here guiding you wrong too. And I'll be the first one to let you all know. Well, if you want the real truth of your being and you want the real capacities of what you can truly do from your higher self and your highest potential, well, then you want the proper leader to lead you there. And I am that one. So if it interests you to love yourself back to life for 2025, Reach out. A lighthouse doesn't chase the boats. So I will be structurally grounded, safe and secure in my being here without fear to assist you all and lead you to your highest potential, should you want it for yourself too. Yes, if I can beat death 7 times in 11 years and lead 11 now to their higher self, what would make you incapable of that? Your own choice. Simple. I love you all. Happy holidays. No matter what it is that you're celebrating, I wish you loving memories, joyous adventure through your time and space while you are surfing the cosmic wave of vibration. Get the most out of it. Love you all. Thanks for your time and energy, and happy holidays. And we'll be back out here next week. Love y'all. Have a good day.
Love you. Bye.